Depression, fear, anxiety, just a few of the reasons millions of Americans turn to alcohol looking to find a way to escape.
That's right. Now with the economy in crisis, we're finding the number of Americans suffering from alcohol-related addictions is actually on the rise. Now, there's no easy way to beat the addiction, but with establishments like High Watch Recovery Center and their trained counselors, they say sobriety is a possibility. Here to tell us more about the facility is President Janina Kean. Welcome to our show. Thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Let's talk about this and talk about how one tries to get help for someone that they love that's actually suffering from an addiction.
It's very difficult because with addiction, it's really a disease that tells the person who has it they don't have a disease. So what the family ends up seeing is a tolerance to the substance, withdrawal. They see their loved one sick in the morning. They'll find that there'll be terrible consequences. They'll be driving and drinking and get arrested, yet they'll go out and drive and drink again. It's very, very difficult. Families get very angry, and they're more negative towards the loved one, where they have to be more positive to get them into treatment.
How long does it take for them to start to notice the warning signs before they start to seek treatment?
Many times they're very embedded in the illness before the family recognizes it, because the family has their own level of denial.
Yeah, that's true. Now, your treatment center located in the northwest corner of Connecticut?
Yes, in the Litchfield Hills.
And what should families look for in trying to pick a treatment center?
You want to make sure that treatment centers contain 4 categories. One, that they treat the neurobiology of addiction, because addiction is a brain disease, and there are medications out there that will help it now. You also want to be sure that they treat co-occurring disorder. What that means, trauma, as you said, depression, anxiety. You want to make sure that they include the families in treatment, and finally that they're teaching some kind of 12-step program, some aftercare that's supportive, because remember, addiction is chronic. It's not like you'll go into treatment and you'll be done and you'll be fine forevermore. You have to think about it like you think about diabetes, like you think about asthma.
It's a lifestyle change.
Talk about that trauma, though, because we were talking earlier and you said that the statistics are staggering with women that are suffering from trauma and how that coincides with where they are as far as with their addiction.
I have to tell you, just when I think I hear it all, I hear something worse. The stats show that 85% of women with addictive disorder have been sexually, physically, or emotionally traumatized. I mean, it's awful. And so actually substance in a lot of ways saves their lives, because it allows them to tolerate it at the time. Unfortunately, because they have the neurochemistry of addiction, it begins to destroy their lives simultaneously.
So the numbers are pretty high for men, too, though, aren't they?
It's about 60–65% for men.
Now, this sounds like such a simple question, but I think when you're on the outside and you're not suffering from that addiction, you just think, well, why can't they just stop? You know, that's the word addiction.
People really have a fallacy about their loved ones who have substance use disorder. They think that if I tell you to stop, you'll stop. But what happens with people with addictive disorder is when they take a drink or a drug, they get a phenomena of craving that is so powerful they can't control it. But what they're finding in research now is even when they're not drinking or drugging, if they have stress or environmental cues, the brain will respond as if it took a drink or a drug, causing them to relapse.
Talk about your mission at your facility. What is really the mission there? Because I know you do the 12-step program. And why is that so beneficial than using other programs?
Well, the 12-step program is very inexpensive aftercare, if you think about it. It's a place they can go on a daily basis to be helped with staying sober a day at a time. But we also do evidence-based practice, and that's very, very important for families to understand. Those were the 4 categories I talked about.
Right.
We treat the families, we treat the neurobiology, we treat the trauma, we treat the depression on 200 acres.
Yeah, I think we do have some photos of your facility, which it's been around since the 1940s, and it doesn't look like your typical treatment center. There they are right there.
In the Litchfield Hills, a beautiful place to be.
We wanted to make sure that when you came to treatment, you felt like you were welcomed, like you were cared for. We had someone give us a wonderful donation a while back, over $1 million actually, just to decorate the facility. So it's quite beautiful.
I just want to quickly mention, we're running out of time, but about a trend that you're seeing lately, and that's about heroin addiction on the rise.
I'm seeing a lot of people come into treatment with heroin, and the reason is they're finding, first of all, children are getting drugs from their parents' medicine cabinets.
Wow.
And the person who's prescribing the most narcotics are dentists and oral surgeons. So the children are taking OxyContin, Percodan, Vicodin, except then they go out on the streets to get it, and it's so expensive they can't afford it, so they're buying heroin.
How young are you seeing kids come in, or how young are you seeing that trend?
Well, we treat 18 and over, but when I interview my patients, they're 10, 11, 12 years old
Really?
and they started using.
That's scary.
They're talking about addiction today as a pediatric illness, that children are actually creating addictive brains because they're using at such an early age.
Wow. Well, listen, if we want more information, of course, on regarding this in your facility there, we can always provide the link. You can be sure to log on to WTNH.com, click on Connecticut Style, and we'll provide the link. Again, Janina Kean, thank you so much for taking some time to talk about this very serious issue.
Thank you so much for having me.
Listen.